recruiting. Pretty important aspect of everything that we're trying to accomplish with the organization. So to me, it doesn't matter what age you are, even if I've got some 1,200 kids in here, because if you are in 7th grade, you're a year away from entering the recruiting process. So I think I mentioned last night that one of my biggest goals for tonight's talk and all the talks I give you is to help you with your peace of mind. All right, so 20 years of experience, the fellows that I coach with, we're proud of the experience that we have. I touched on this last week, and we want you to have the same experience. So the stress factor, the worry, the concerns, all of these things that are part of the recruiting world, we want to show you how to embrace this. Okay? The recruiting part of playing softball is a roller coaster ride. It's a crazy roller coaster ride. So think about that first time you went on a crazy roller coaster and you were kind of nervous, excited about it, and a little bit unsure. And yeah, it takes you through some dips and turns, and at some point you want off, and then when it's done, you're glad it's done. Okay, with recruiting, you really don't want to go through it again, but you just realize there was something about it. So if you learn to embrace it and kind of go through it the right way, you can save yourself a lot of agony. Because really, it's a process, and it's a pretty exciting part of what it is that we're going through. So let's talk about what that is, okay? Does every player have to be on scholarship road? Well, I have to be careful with what I say. If that's what you're going for in softball, and it's available to everybody and anybody that plays softball, it's really tough in Southern California because Southern California is the most competitive part of the softball market. It's where the most experienced and talented players are. And okay, talent without experience is a little bit different. But when you have talent and you add experience, you add in the fact that you're playing 12 months a year, 11 and a half months a year. And that experience that you get, weekend after weekend, your friendlies, your practice, playing up, the tournaments, the national, playing 3 or 4 national tournaments by the time you're 14, 15 years old. Having the weather that we have so that we can experience 11 and a half month season, it gives you valuable experience. So Southern California softball players, and again, Southern California, or there's seats in the back as well. Thank you. And it's not just Southern California, but let's say anywhere where you have weather that allows you to play year round, it gives you an advantage. So that's the best advantage that we have because our weather allows us to play pretty much all year round. Now you add in the amount of softball players in Southern California, which there are the most here, and then you've got a pretty good product. So what we want is we want you players to come out of this experience healthy. We want you to come out of this experience feeling good, feeling prepared, feeling ready. All right, so there's a lot of things we want to cover. And the first part of this presentation, I just wanted to roll through some pictures. And I'll explain just a little bit about each of them as we go through them. So the first one is our title page here, and it's just a picture of Lauren Chamberlain's recruiting page when we were doing media guides for our team, 18 and under. The media guides, so just to talk about media guides for your team, for those of you that are entering in, you're getting any showcases, and you've got profiles and things like that. Keep your media guides and your profile sheets very simple. Okay, one of our dads helped out with kind of a trifold, one-page deal last year. And so what happens is, if you ever see our media guide, it's a little more elaborate. It's pretty much a little booklet, but it's more like a media guide. It's not so much a recruiting pamphlet. You want to keep those things light and simple, and here's why. Because when these college coaches come out to watch you play, think about how many profiles that they're getting, and they only have so much room in their little bag. And if you were ever to check the trunk or the back of a rental car when they turn their rental cars in before they go back home, it's filled with books in that back of the trunk that were too heavy for them to carry all over the place. So when you're doing media guides and profile sheets like that, keep them simple, 1-2 pages. You don't have to get crazy. On this particular page, it's Lauren that goes to her address and it gives her birthday, her weight, her GPA. You don't talk about her travel ball experiences. Not necessarily, you have to have, that's a little overkill. Where you're at, your graduating year, your general information, but just keep it real simple on your profile page. Okay, this is the power of our recruiting now. All right, so those of you that experience what it's like to take the field in a Firecracker uniform, okay, have firecrackers across your chest, and this isn't about self-glorification, you guys. It's not about that. Okay, just the fact that if we understand this, so we talked last week about the Play with Honor concept and that being our legacy, our thank you to anybody that served time and has given for us, and we'd love for them to be able to look at when we wear Play with Honor things, any soldiers, any veterans, anybody, and know that we're saying thank you. So there's power to being in the military, that posture, the way that command presence, the way you learn to carry yourself. And there's power in what our players have developed as the brand of the Firecracker organization, the brand. The term brand really wasn't used in the Firecracker organization 5 years ago. It started coming to me. It started coming to me. Tell me about your brand. Your players are becoming more and more recognizable. So if I was to go back to the first kind of images of the brand for us, probably in 2001, 2002, I think everyone had the assumption that you needed to have blonde hair and it needed to be about mid-back to be able to play on our team. Well, it really wasn't a prerequisite. At that time, you just looked at our team and we had a lot of blonde-haired girls on the team, and they all had long hair. And we had 4 or 5 players that used to that joined us every year from Arizona, and they had a certain look. Arizona kind of coined their own brand, their own look. They started wearing the all-black pants. They were the first ones to do it. And in Arizona, in the heat, they started wearing the black glasses, so the sunglasses, long ponytails, and it was kind of like this stealth image they had. This goes back to Firecracker Beach, who, again, late 1990s, early 2000s, she's the head coach at New Mexico right now. Kara Brunn, who coaches the Arizona Storm 18-goal team, and there's some really great players there. So developing a brand is a look for our ball players. You know, for the players in here, if you think about brand, if I was to ask the players in here, what's Nike's brand? It's the swoosh, right? So you think about it, what's Carl's Jr.'s brand, the little star guy, you know, Jack in the Box. So you think about it, and we didn't really develop this organization for that purpose. The fact that we're the Firecrackers, so that's a little different name. And then we have our logo. We have our Firecracker guy, which I should have brought him up. I should have put a picture of him up here. But our Firecracker logo is our logo. And that's unique to us, to what we have. And so that's kind of interesting because now we're trying to take that a step farther and we're trying to dress up our logo. Right now, if you look on your shirts and you look at the Firecracker guy, and he doesn't have anything on. So he's just a firecracker. But we're trying to give him a little identity, a little personality. In Texas, in Arizona, Texas has put the little cowboys on them and the little guns and holsters. And then our Arizona people, we didn't want to offend them, but we just put the obvious cactus and the cow skull down there. And I asked them, don't be angry, but what else do we give them? And we want to be able to see something that says Firecracker letterhead, and then boom, these college coaches get those letters that you're going to be writing identifiable. The Firecrackers are very identifiable. I'm proud of the fact that we have a lot of depth. Now, my job is to make sure that we're identifiable and recognizable within our organization. So I don't want you to be amidst this sea of Firecrackers, and then there are so many of us that nobody knows who we are. So don't get lost in the traditional concerns of softball, or how's it going to happen? There's too many of them. Well, no. Start to look at successful franchises. Start to look in organizations, in businesses that have created multiple chapters, multiple franchises, and you're still recognizable. So there's something that's centralized, but yet every chapter has its own identity. Now I said chapter, and I've mentioned this to a couple people, but it's going to sound funny. But how can we now take the amount of Firecracker teams that we have, and we've streamlined the uniforms because we don't want 25 different uniforms, but how can we give you an identity within a uniform? Because at some point we have solid colors for our 1800 division. We want our younger kids to be able to come up to the point to where they graduate into a solid uniform. And remember, you guys, if you're 12 years old right now and you go to another organization, you know, you're not disloyal, you're not a bad person, you know. You come here, you're gone. It's not about you having to stay in this organization for 6 and 8 years. That's not it. But if it happens to work out for you, we want you to get to this progression to where, if you look at a lot of these college jerseys in the back, a lot of them are solid colors. Most of them are solid colors. You see a couple of them are multicolored. So there's something that we want you to grow into with a brand, and there's a certain progression there. And that's important because it's become recognizable. So being recognized as a Firecracker across your chest, there's a certain way that if you understand now that we put you in those uniforms so you look a certain way, but my responsibility as the head of the organization is to make sure that there's depth behind that look. But the look is powerful. Now, I don't tell our girls how to dress. I don't tell them how to look. They tell me what's in. They tell me what makes them feel beautiful. There are some certain things that have been consistent, but you know, right now with the glove headbands, they're thicker headbands. And I think I mentioned this last week, but you know, 5 years ago, if you wore those thick headbands, it looked like you had a head injury. They weren't in 5 years ago. It looked like there was something wrong with you, covering up some stitches or something. And now they're in. In fact, West Coast, you see the big headbands on the West Coast, but you don't see a lot of the big headbands on the East Coast. It kind of starts here and kind of moves that direction. Cheyenne here is not wearing the headband. Here's what I like about this picture. She's got the look. She's relaxed. Her shoulders are relaxed. She's looking down at the ground, and she's just checking in with herself. She's calming down before she presents herself to the pitch. So part of our brand is the calmness. It's the swagger. It's the walk. It's what happens in between pitches. All right? So the brand, what do you look like? As you get older, think in terms of class. Think in terms of elegance. Think in terms of gracefulness, posture, beauty. And that's where you're going when you design your character. Okay, now, players, you guys understand this. As soon as you step in the batter's box, all those words I just described go out the window because you start to feel stressed and anxious because you want to have a good at-bat. You don't want to disappoint. All right, so the brand. Here's another. Right, you see my son walking around taking pictures, and we're getting creative together and trying to capture images that, again, have made this organization powerful. We're trying to set a standard of happiness. We're trying to set a standard of confidence. Not just confidence when you're off the field, the same amount of confidence and honor after you maybe struck out, popped up with a bases loaded, won a game, lost a game. I want to be able to look at you and not be able to tell if you're winning or losing. I want to be able to look at you and not be able to tell if you struck out or got a hit. There should be a certain professional look. On the right here is you're right, my left. But Lauren Chamberlain's on the left. She's at Oklahoma right now. In the middle is Jamie Sullivan, and on the far side over there is Janelle Linville. So Oklahoma, Oregon, and Oregon. Sophomore, freshman. But again, learning to project and present themselves. And we kind of have fun with these pictures. Like, it's not a big production. We just say, give us a serious face, give us, I don't know, your little boo lips or whatever it is. They kind of have fun with it. But some of these images, they're a little bit different than anybody that kind of remembers the persona or the stereotypes of softball 20 years ago. We're changing the image. And it's not to change it for any other reason than that we're just trying to draw the mainstream crowd into watching what we do. We're going to continue to go to these softball fields and have fun, and well, hopefully have fun every weekend that we do this. But, again, I try to mention this too, especially with the College World Series. The College World Series has saved the media part of our sport. It's not the USA games. Because if you think about it, even the last Olympic games that we participated on, I think the gold medal game was on like 3 in the morning. So the amount of national team games that we really get to see, and then the USA games that you do see on TV with the Oklahoma, the World Cup, or the US Cup, and games like that, they're not real presentable. There's 100, 200 people in the stands. But think about the College World Series. Think about those big crowds. Think about what ESPN is doing in that TV coverage, and they telecast all the games. And so the fact that those games are running in restaurants, and you have a lot of mainstream people that don't have anything to do with softball, and now they're drawn to these images. Well, why? Why are they starting to be drawn to softball when they don't have anybody that plays softball? There's two things. And we'll start with my gender in a minute. Okay, so what are we drawn to? Beauty, number one. So, you have to be careful how you talk about it, but let's just talk about the fact, right? The fact is, in advertising, beauty's all over the place, every age in advertising. The 12-year-old girl is pretty much in a movie every summer and every Christmas, right? So there's always a Marsha Brady, there's always Laura Ingalls, there's always a Hannah Montana, there's always a young teenage girl that presents herself because she sells, she's happy, she's bubbly, right? She's beautiful, she smiles. Advertising, how are we going to sell our product? Take the uniforms out. Forget the uniforms, look at the faces. Do these faces sell? I put them on my products, so whatever they're selling. So then what happens is we're attracted. And it doesn't automatically mean in a disgusting, perverted way. No, we appreciate beauty, so we just keep this in the right context. So we're drawn to it. So that's the first reason why I'm going to watch it. Let's just be honest. Now the second thing that's going to keep me watching the TV is that they play athletically. We talked a little bit about that last week too. Okay? They play athletically. They play in a way that makes me want to continue to watch them play. If I'm a male athlete, I got a lot of pride, and again, most of us were not anywhere near as good as we thought we were. All right, but we're experts and we're professionals and we do everything correctly. So I tell our girls, if you're running funny with our arms going sideways, I'm going to try to turn the TV off before you hit first base. So we want to present the game in a very professional, athletic fashion so that people are also drawn to that. So there's a picture of you running in slow motion and you've got that good running form presenting itself before they break away to commercial. So just another picture of the brand. What did I do with mine? Of the brand. All right. Okay, so that image, and again, tied into recruiting, the attraction, all right? And I guess the big point that when we talk about recruiting is the last thing that needs to happen when you understand this process is your double and your home run. If you get everything I'm talking about tonight, The last thing that needs to happen, your hit seals the deal. But you're going to create attraction even before you get to the field. So when we talk a little bit later about what you need to do in the process and not just sending your emails and doing what most people do, because you have to do that, but creating a personal relationship with college coaches and giving them something that they're drawn to. And then they want to walk up and then they want to see you. So it's how you walk on the field. It absolutely is how you walk on the field. It's how you carry yourself. If you're aware of it, you're going to present yourself the right way. So where do young teenage girls learn how to present themselves the right way? Being effective. I would say maybe 7th, 8th grade when they start to see boys, right? And the dance or whatever it is. So they become very aware in a good or bad way of being self-conscious in how they present themselves. And now somebody likes me. I got a little attention, so I got a little more confidence. So we certainly don't show him my angry side. Right, girls? You don't show them your disappointed side. You just had a bad game yesterday, because that's certainly not very attractive. So you guys are already learning how to walk into a room and go, okay, you're going to see just the best side of me. Right? And it's funny because now you guys go for college scholarships and you don't think about this stuff at all. Because I understand the stress that you go through on that field. But it's how you walk. It's how you take the field. This was not staged. This was just a picture that was taken. But man, what a moment. I got a right fielder. Actually, I got a pitcher playing right field, so she just happened to be out there. And then we've got the second baseman, and we've got a shortstop, and she's just wow, what a great time. Great pitcher. It's how you step in the box. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you step in the box. So I'll step in front of the screen, but we've talked about it. You step in the box. I'll do it right here. You step in the box, you take the pitch, you peel off, you look at your coach all stressed out, you do your little arm slaps. You get back in, you're not aware of how you're projecting yourself, and again, you lost it. It's how you step in the box. It's take the pitch, it's that backwards walk. Remember, you're the hunter, you're looking at that pitcher. Now you check, and every time you do that, somebody's thinking you got to keep the foot in the box, right? So I'll do it the right way. You do this, then you look. You are the cat constantly looking at that little mouse until you get what you want. So how you step in the box, and I guess how you step out of the box. And you guys know this, they don't always keep the one foot in. But when you can take that time in between, you do that backwards walk, and you just kind of slow it down. Not many playoff games left, okay, but we still have some playoff baseball games. Watch what happens in between pitches. These guys do not take pitches, look at the coach and get right back in. They're always messing with their batting gloves, taking time to self-manage in between pitches. So how you step in the box, there's the posterior side of the image. I like this is Carly Wester, but she's faceless right here. It's just that image. This is an image that stands, and it works. It's how you explode out of the circle. How you explode out of the circle. Think about that. Right? In between pitches, you're calm, you go through your windup, it's a buildup of energy, you are delivering that pitch, and you are exploding, you are propelling yourself into that pitch. So if you just look at this picture, she's exploding. So this is Cheyenne, the first picture that we showed with the brand. She was calm in between. She was known for going hard. She's pitching at Tennessee. She's going to get a little more pitching time this year. She's a good pitcher. When she hits her spots, nails her location, she does well. But that's just a picture of, again, even the brand is when you explode, when you swing the bat, when you throw the ball. Think about it. What are you projecting? It's how you project yourself. It's how you project yourself. All right, so right there. This is the first player that we had in our organization that branded herself. Her name is Megan Willis. And right now, I believe she's in Japan. She is Cat Osterman's personal catcher. Kind of sounds funny, you don't hear that a lot in softball. But Cat Osterman, great pitcher at Texas. Arguably one of the best pitchers in the world right now. She pitches for Team USA. Did pitch for Team USA, not anymore. They were together at Texas, and they play together in the professional league in Japan. Japan has the only existing professional league that allows American players to go there and make a pretty good living for 1 year's time, and allows them to prepare for their future a little bit more. So Megan was one of the first ones to brand herself with the way she looked with her long blonde hair, and she was known for that. But this is about just the way she's pointing. Okay? Megan Willis is a strikingly beautiful young woman, and for those of you that have been gifted with good looks, You guys know that it's not always easy to walk into a room and have other young girls be kind to you. It's not easy at all. In fact, Megan used to go up to Whittier, and I used to play my nephews and play little music and stuff. We used to do some shows on the weekends, and she's a free spirit. She used to love to be around music. And Megan wanted to come up and listen to us one weekend, and I kind of told us, Megan, but up there we're playing, there's not a lot of blonde-haired girls that are real pronounced there, so just kind of be careful because some of the girls up in the Whittier area might not receive you as well. And I wasn't sure because she's a very loud person. If she was laughing in here, I'm not even going to do her laugh. She just laughs and everybody turns up what she does. So she's very pronounced. The point that I'm making is, I was a little worried about her walking up to the show one night, and she came up, and I watched her walk in, and she saw a group of Latina girls. There were about 4 of them sitting there, and I looked at her, and she walked right up to them, and she started complimenting them on different things that they had. So whether it was their hairstyle, and it seemed to be sincere. I watched her, and then I looked at them, and they engaged, they just started talking to each other. And so what I saw was she knew how to break down the defenses. She knew how to walk in a room and know that somebody was going to have a little resistance to her, and then right away break it down. So I call it a political conversation. She knew how to walk in and put something on the table and say, look, I'm not here to tell you I'm better than you. I'm not here to walk in this room and know that everyone's going to be looking at me. So she knew how to break things down. So there's 2 things. There's a projection of confidence, but it's not arrogance and it's not conceit. Okay, you guys know what arrogance is. You know what conceit means. All right, that's not what we're going for. We want to be very certain of ourselves. We want to be very confident in everything that we're doing. How you project yourself. This was one of our TV games last year, and just a pause and a slow motion moment, and I just like the fact that Tara was pitching. Janelle had just thrown somebody out at second base, and it was the way Nicole was playing second here, and Tara was pitching. The way they turned around and told the catcher, nice job. And just that projection works against your competition. That projection right there is powerful against your competition. Especially after you make a mistake, you give up a run or this or that, but that type of confidence. So again, what have you noticed in the last 2 pictures? These arms are pointing straight out. Okay, the topic is recruiting. We're talking about character. We're talking about how you attract, how you carry yourself, right? I haven't done anything as far as, she hit a double, she threw a no-hitter, we won the game and lost the game. Nothing about that. You're calm between pitches. This is Megan Langenfeld. Experienced player, won championships at multiple levels. Here she's playing with the USA team. But this is part of our mantra, part of our routine before games. You see a lot of firecrackers. Look at the bat. Now look where she's looking. She's looking at the barrel of the bat. She's holding it up. And I think last week I had everybody stand up and kind of take a deep breath and kind of slow and feel your shoulders kind of relax. But this is where you slow everything down. When you exhale before you step in the box, make it a 5-second exhale. When you practice your breathing, practice exhaling for 5 seconds. And at the end of the 5 seconds, you hear little noises, you hear the fan, you hear an airplane, you hear a car, you hear little things. And if you practice breathing for 5 seconds, players, then what's going to happen in the game, you're probably going to get that down to 3 seconds. You're going to get that back down to, just don't do this. I'm ready. Because that's a half a second. And that doesn't work. All right. What happened is you didn't really relax and expel everything. So you're calm between pitches. All right. It's a stop and start sport. We're anxious a lot. We're rushing. In the back of your minds, you don't want to disappoint you know who. All right. So you're not comfortable. Okay? Your heart rate's fast. All right. Your mouth is dry. Your knees feel funny. Your stomach's a little queasy. I don't know. Everybody gets it different. All right. I was kind of a weird one when I would be in my most pressure-filled situations. I don't know why, but I felt like I wanted to take a nap. So I just felt like I wanted to go to sleep. That was a little weird. I didn't like everybody just handle stress. All right, calm between pitches so that, just tell me to move, okay? All right, then you're ready to hunt. So players, did we talk about this? Okay, you can either be the hunted or the hunter. All right, you are naturally going to become the hunted, the way that we have traditionally experienced softball. Unless you're one of the few players that has great talent and are playing well most of the time, which is about 2% of all the players. 98% of the players feel stressed most of the time. So if you get in a persona, so let's get into this. You see the picture and the image. I would imagine that if that cat's hungry, I'm standing there, I'm in trouble. So what is your playing image? What is your persona? How are you carrying yourself? How is the other team viewing you? Right? What's your energy like? What's your presence like? So I like analogies. Okay? I take our softball world, and really the softball part of it becomes a very small part of what we do, and we're just translating it into so many other things that we can kind of bring back into softball and give softball a different type of life and different type of experience, because players, you guys know this, when you start getting up to that box and your hands come up slowly like this, and your weight goes back slowly, you are the hunter. You're waiting. You're waiting for that pitch. When you bring that weight back slowly and calmly, and you get to that little pause point, and again, ask 20 people on how to hit a ball correctly. Players, how many different answers are you going to get? 19 or 20, right? You ask 20 different people on how to hit a ball correctly. Hey, how do you hit it? You're going to get about 19, 20 different answers, right? Okay, so when I give you this, it's just an opinion. All right? But my opinion is, if you bring that weight back, and you stop, and your eyes don't move, nothing's moving, no matter how fast your heart is beating, your knees feel a little bit funny, you're seeing everything in real time, then it doesn't matter if you're facing another hunter-type pitcher who starts slowly, builds up energy, boom, and then explodes at you, or if you're facing a distressed turkey, one that runs 3 times per windup and hits their leg and hits their arms and hits. But again, they will deceive you. They will throw you off. They'll throw your timing off because everything is anxious. So if you're not ready, you're anxious. You're coming out early. So how do we translate? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have told me I did that. All right. So how do we translate this look into the field? That's important, right? Pitchers, we do this all the time. Throw a pitch. Walk back to the back of the circle. Think about what just happened. Whatever it is, okay, that pitch missed low. I need to throw this one higher. If he calls that pitch again that I don't like, I need to make an adjustment. Throw the ball into your glove. And when you look up, you become this cat. You're looking at the batter. You walk to the rubber. So you engage the batter, and you disengage. You think about what you're doing. Okay, watch the bunt right here. Why? Because I'm throwing a one-hitter, and it's in the 6th inning, and I'm playing a pretty good coach. And I know that pretty good coaches don't sit back and just let pitchers beat them. They do lots of things to try to get that pitcher. Watch the bunt. Big breath. Walk to the circle. Present yourself. I'll do it the other way. Let's say that I just talked to my center fielder, and I'm out here, so again, the hitter's still this way. After I talk to the center fielder, when I turn around this direction, I'm going to turn like I'm ready to go back to battle. But you do not want to, just an opinion, throw the pitch, walk backwards, and then get right. Now, pitching at a quick pace, deceiving the batter, quick pitching, disrupting timing. So I'm not saying never to quick pitch. That's a great strategy. So understand what I'm saying. Overall, the management needs to be calm. The management needs to be calm. All right, it's also how you win. Okay, so this energy, this persona, the presence. It's how you walk on the field, it's how you step in the box, it's how you leave the circle, it's how you carry yourself, it's what you project. It's how you win. Be gracious. Okay? Be courteous. You celebrate. But just no matter what's going on, always put yourself in the other team's position. So no matter what you're doing, how would you like it? And I've experienced both. So what is overkill? What's too much? What's to the point where it's just like, okay, that's nice, but you know what? This kind of sucks kind of watching that. So when you win, it doesn't mean don't celebrate. Our team doesn't, we don't do home plate stuff and stuff like that, and that's just our choice. I don't think that everybody should do that. But whatever we do, we just always put ourselves in the other dugout. So we cheer, we encourage, we celebrate in moderation, but when you can win with class, one of the hardest things to achieve in softball is to have other people outside of your team be genuinely happy for your success. So having other players from other teams be genuinely happy for when you guys receive your scholarship, having other teams be genuinely happy for when you win, not just the congratulations that you get, but look at you go like, and we're pretty fortunate because we've worked pretty hard in good relationships for a long time, so there's a lot of sincerity towards our organization. There's a lot of sincerity towards my team, and we're pretty fortunate. But we tell people, we try to earn that. We try to treat people with respect. So it's how you win, the first national championship game that we lost there until, actually the second one on television, the first one was a few years ago before that. But what I like about this, we just lost the national championship on the last pitch. We make the pitch, we make the play, we win. We do that the following year, we're back-to-back national champions, we're back-to-back second place in the last 2 years. What I love about this picture, and it hurt, it hurt right in all their chests, but not one chin down. There were tears, there was competitive disappointment, not value disappointment. Okay, they know they're great ladies, but not one chin down. So it's also how you lose. Think about that. It's not the moping, it's not the, and this is important. Okay, so recruiting. You guys get your scholarship, and you're at your college, and you're away from home, and your aunt and uncle, your cousins fly in, and they come to see you play, and they've known you, and you didn't have a good game. You didn't have a good game Friday, you didn't have a good game Saturday. You walk out of the locker room, and there's your little niece and your little cousin. She's 6 and she's 8, and there's your aunt and uncle. And this is what I mean. You walk out of that locker room after you just struck out twice and popped up, and your dad's not very happy with you. All right, and you walk out and you look right at your cousins and you thank them for coming. And you look at your aunt and uncle, not your ankle, aunt and uncle, and you thank them for coming. And you let them know that it's not about your bad game. You don't walk out with that look and then have your dad say, well, we just can't talk to her when she's that way, so anyways, thanks for coming for her. No way. You're a scholarship player, and they flew out to see you. You guys know this because I'm talking about the college situation, all right? These girls had to leave a full venue at the Bill Barber Park at a TV game and be able to walk up those stairs and be greeted by people on top, and they've been trained for that. So hopefully you get that point. It's how you lose. It's so when you can lose the game, you can have just a poor game competitively, but walk off the field and keep your dignity. You know, you don't have to act happy in a way that you're not, but keep your head up and be gracious. Always, really important. So discover your beauty. Brian, I told you I had to. Discover your beauty. I mean, again, I don't know, I think I stole this off of Emily's Facebook or somebody. I saw this, I came across it online, and I look at this and I'm like, wow, that's like, there's that Nordstrom's picture, there's that Mervin's picture, there's that teenage advertisement, that, wow, like, okay, they happen to be wearing Firecracker t-shirts, but I don't care what they're wearing. I mean, they're selling it, like, that's it. Like, what are they doing? I don't think they just struck out twice. If they did, boy, that's what I'm talking about. That's something good must have just happened. But that's an image right there. Discover it. Own it. Don't just let it be because somebody bought you ice cream today and that's the only time you look that way, right? That is beautiful right there. It's another beautiful brand picture. This is one of my kids in Texas. You know, I ask my kids, you know, when they go to Texas, I talk to them about their brand. And, well, how can you discover a brand? And I tell them, one of the only things I remember is when I was growing up watching the Miss USA pageant and the Miss America pageant with my mom, that Miss Texas was always in the final. Like Miss Texas was always in the last 3, right? I mean, she always had a certain look, whether it was Phyllis George, anybody remembers this stuff. And Miss Texas always had a certain elegance, a certain look. So I told them, I said, send me pictures. And this is, again, one of the benefits of I was an anti-Facebook guy or an anti-social and all that stuff. Well, after I went to South Africa last year with the USA team and I wanted to maintain some friendships that were really important to me, and I asked the Texas girls and the out-of-state kids, send me pictures, but don't send me like you know, profile pictures. Don't do that stuff. Send me pictures. And they were on their way to a tournament, and they saw the field with the flowers, and she told her mom to pull over, and she went to the field and she took the picture and she sent it to me. See what I'm talking about though? Girls, you see what I'm talking about? Send me pictures, like, it could be anywhere. It could be at a carnival, anything, but that's a brand picture. That's beautiful. Take it to your highest level of play. So discover that beauty, discover it right now. All right? I was talking with Chris today and watching little Scarlett run around this warehouse and seeing the beauty that you have at such a young age and all these things that can happen to you, you know, good and bad in our society. But discover your beauty and know that you're beautiful, know that you're happy, and own it, and then take it to your highest level of play. So as a softball player, it's pretty darn cool if you get your own billboard, right? It's pretty darn cool if you can drive by the freeway and look up and see your picture next to the freeway. So, and Melissa's around here somewhere tonight. So Melissa's here in the center as the catcher, and I think I have this right, but quickly with her story, she started playing her best softball at, I think, 19. Mel, am I right? 19, 20? Okay, so 19, 20 years old, she played her best softball. She was very experienced, very skilled, played on all the best teams. So from 11, 12 years old, she was a little slapper, a little catcher, so she had some notoriety, you know. On the field, Mel had it together. Off the field, well, could have been a little bit better for her, do things off the field. So she had some maturing, some development, and her first questions to me, her junior and senior year in high school were, how come you're sending me to Louisville? And by the way, this is the University of Louisville, it's in Kentucky. Meaning, how come I'm not going to Arizona like Megan Langenfeld, or UCLA like Megan Langenfeld, or Arizona like Sarah Akamine, and again, it's hard to look at a 16-year-old and say, there's a reason why you're just not ready for that. And then to watch her development, watch her go to school, watch her take ownership of herself, especially socially, create some balance, ups and downs. You're going to learn a lot about yourself in college, and see this growth, this emotional growth, the mentality, the maturity take place. And then all of a sudden, she starts really excelling and doing well. And I just took it this way. She became one of the draws for the program. They've got a coach in there that was trying to create some winning ways. And now you've got people buying tickets to watch you play. Why would they put your picture on the side of the freeway? Why would they put your picture? Why do they put you in the middle? Because there's something about you that's a draw. So when I say take it to your highest level, imagine you guys playing somewhere and now you're drawing. So after, maybe her junior year, she knew exactly what she was at Louisville. She understood a lot more about her own development, and she understood what Louisville needed, and what she did for that program. She hit 32 home runs her last 2 years. She was two-time All-American there. She was Team USA, and she did some great things there. She helped put them on the map, and they're still a great program. She didn't understand it at 16. A lot of the stuff at 12 and 14 that you guys are hearing, you're hearing it, you don't understand it. You go through this full circle, you're going to understand it. So when I say take it to your highest level of play, this stage gave her the stage to be an All-American, and gave her the stage to make the USA team. And then she was also drafted in the first round of the MPF Pro Draft, and she played with the USSSA Pride for a couple of years. And retired to coach in this organization, to get back to you girls. And if you haven't seen her yet, don't be surprised when you see Mel, because Mel's one of the hardest working coaches we have in this organization. She's seeing about 5 to 7 teams a week. These are just some pictures of your highest level of play. So here's Langenfeld winning the national championship at UCLA. She had not an easy road there. I won't get too much into the particulars, but it was not an easy road. Off the field, socially, there are some things that were taking place there that, again, her training tells her, move forward. Do not blame others. Do not be resentful of people that resent you. Move forward, own yourself, because this kid loves softball. This kid's a softball player. She's getting her master's right now. She's coaching at Arkansas. But to see that moment, and these different types of moments, and know where it started, know where that posture started, know where that mindset started. This is Jamia Reed laying down a bunt for Cal Berkeley. Lefties, you know what I like about that picture? Or her hips turn? Yeah, when a lefty's bunting the ball, turning her hips, running straight forward, she fouls the ball off a lot less. We'll do a hitting seminar sometime in here and be successful at the plate. That is a great looking picture. Great jersey. Just graduated. This is Inslee Gamble going to pitch. And she pitched a little more her freshman year at Florida. Colorado tournament with us, this kid threw back-to-back no-hitters. I think there were 2 5-inning games, but she threw back-to-back no-hitters with about a 53-mile-an-hour drop. This ball goes straight down, kept rolling with this ground ball. And road kind of took a little turn at Florida, and she got some pretty good pitchers there, and so she was in their lineup as a hitter last year. Okay, Lauren Chamberlain. She was the first profile page that we opened it up with tonight. That was her profile page. She was and again, I'm pretty sure because I asked Stacey Newton, and Stacey Newton didn't hit 30 home runs until her sophomore year in college. She hit her 30th home run, actually her 29th and 30th home run in Game 3 of the college championships last year. So the only freshman to ever hit 30 home runs. And I can remember everything from her first time walking in here being nervous, to learning how to slow down, to understanding pitch selection and really simplifying it. And we're going to get a lot more from Laura to get back to this program. There's a great picture. These are the Reed twins and Ashley Hansen. So we've got, I think she's the fastest kid that we've ever had in this program. And they went on and had great careers at Cal Berkeley. And then Ashley Hansen just graduated from Stanford. She was the College Player of the Year 2 years ago. Okay, so she also made Team USA. Had every scholarship offer available to her, and knew she wanted to go to Stanford. She lived in Arizona, and that's usually a strong Arizona State tie-in, but she knew she wanted to go to Stanford. 5'6" kid, not super tall. And again, College Player of the Year, just awesome. She did great. And so she graduated this year, so Ashley, the one in the middle, and passed up more Team USA opportunities, if not playing in the Pro League. And she's working up in Silicon Valley, up north, and she's a college graduate from Stanford. And I thought she was just going to walk away from the game and just live a great, healthy life. And then she sent me something last week. If anybody's seen my Facebook, she just opened the Ashley Hansen Soccer Academy. So she does love this game and she wants to get back to it. So she's working full time as some type of engineering job, and then she's just opened up her academy. Which is like, I would tell you, to open one of these places up, you're taking on a lot. Okay, that could be. All right, this is just getting to the USA team. So Ashley Hansen on the left, Lauren Schutzler, number 4 there, Megan Langenfeld, number 13 there, and Katie Cochran. Here on this side here. Between Katie, Megan, and Ashley, in a 7-year span, they won Pac-10 Player of the Year 5 out of the 7 years. So I think Katie won it 3 times and then won. And again, I'm throwing that out to you so that you guys understand the level of play that takes place, but really, what's the message here? It's not about drive up your batting average. Okay? It's own yourself, it's understand that beauty. We're gonna take a break right now. I'm gonna hit this last picture. We'll take a little break, grab some water. Again, if you need advice from Ralph, take us a couple hats, whatever it is. We'll do about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll come back and I'll roll through some procedures when we talk about different parts of the recruiting. But I want the players to get these images. I want you guys to see this because this is the power. If you're all college coaches, and I didn't have any of these images up here, and I'm talking about the beauty, I'm talking about it, and you get the message, but you're gonna remember some of my words, but you're gonna remember these pictures. You should remember that panther, that black panther. You should remember some of these pictures. They're powerful. And then use your mirrors at home and start creating your own image. Okay, I think. Yeah. All right. So we're going to break for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to get back, and then we're going to start covering procedures, all right, recruiting stuff, what we're doing freshman year, things like that. Okay, so move around.